All right, guys, welcome back. It's been a little while. We're back out in the beautiful Victorian winter sunny day. It's a bit cool, but that won't matter because we're on the mental health machines today. And we're a little bit behind the times, but we've always wanted to test ride the big boy, the Husky 501, or very similar to the KTM 500. So one of our good mates, Richo, has come along today for a ride, and he's allowing us to have a bit of a test ride on his bike. Now, as always, we're just going to test ride it to see how it feels for us. I've come from a four-stroke background. I've had a heap of 450s and 350s, and then in around 2018 I jumped into the two-strokes and haven't looked back. So I'm a bit of a two-stroke fanboy now, but obviously these beasts have got their place. We're all different types of riders. We're just weekend warriors, like we always say. And we're just here to just give you the vibe. I'm not going to tell you about the spring rates and all that sort of details. It's just going to be purely about the feel and the vibe of the bike. And we're just sort of go from there. So, Al?
I think it's really cool to have this. Something to point out as well, though, is we're not claiming, like, we're doing one of our head-to-heads, but we're not saying this is a hard enduro bike. It's just that, Richo does get out in the bush and ride this, but a lot of people can only have one bike and they try to do lots of things on this. So it'd be cool to see how this goes in the snotty stuff that we like on the cross trainers, and just have some fun. Notably, I expected it to be a lot bigger and heavier. We've just had a little play around here. So I think it's going to feel better than I expected, maybe than the ones from a couple of years ago. But at the end of the day, the best bike is the one that you've got. So we'll see what the 501's capable of doing in the snotty stuff today.
Yeah, I think it'll be good just to see. I think everyone sort of knows that we just love a bush bash, and some people want to know whether they should get a big bike like this or whether they should get the two-stroke style. The first thing I sort of noticed without riding it much was just pushing it around. The centre of gravity just feels a lot higher on these bikes, but when you're on it, it's not quite as noticeable.
Yeah.
Whereas especially the cross trainer, it obviously feels incredibly light even compared to our standard big boy 300. But it'll be interesting.
I think it'll be interesting too. Like the cross trainers are really hard to stall. Even though this is a big four-stroke, I'm interested to see in the tough stuff whether I stall this a little bit, or if we're trying to pop the front wheel up, what it does.
Yep.
But yeah, should be a cool competition.
Now, Richo, you've pretty much been a four-stroke bloke your whole life. Maybe when you were a kid, a couple little RM80s and bits and pieces. But open-minded, how do you sort of feel about the sort of the size and the feel of the cross trainer? Just off initial pushing it around, sitting on it, and just like around this little paddock.
Yeah, certainly I can feel that the cross trainer's got a much better seat height, as in lower. You can get your feet on the ground. What's really nice though is they are low. They're low centre of gravity. Certainly got enough grip, and don't remind me of the YZ 80s or the IT, even the older IT90 type style big boards, big bikes. So I'd have to say very impressive, big change from what I was expecting. More torque than I really expected, and I noticed I could pop the wheel up without too much trouble, which I expect I have to have a handful of revs and didn't need to. So looking forward to see whether the seat's more comfortable than mine. I think it might be on the cross trainer.
They're a surprisingly good seat standard on these, on the cross trainer.
The cross trainers are very good. I must admit, I think I need an operation if I keep riding mine all the time. So I'll pass you back to
Cheers. So obviously with this is a 2020 FE 501. It's all standard, other than we put a 13 front sprocket on it. It's to give it a little bit more pep. It's obviously got the 1-2 map and the traction control. We'll see if we want to use it or not.
We've had a few people asking us why we don't test the different map switches and stuff like that. To be honest, it's because we've never changed them on our own bike. So we're just riding them as everyday buffoons that would get on a bike and ride them. So I know some of you would play with all that stuff, but that's not us. So we just ride them as is in the standard map.
I think with these models too, a lot of the time they were saying, because this traction control system was sort of fairly newish, there wasn't a huge difference. So maybe down the track when we get a 25 of all the other bikes to test, apparently it is a big difference, but we won't really be focusing on a hell of a lot that today. Like I said, it'll just be about the vibe.
There is one mod on this, and that's the suspension link. That was just to make sure that you don't get hung up on logs.
Yeah, it's a good idea, especially with the linkage bikes. So, beautiful day. So I think we get out there and have a bit of crack.
Let's do it.
Beautiful.
All right, well, here we go on the Husky 501. Let's see, we've got the little playground here, so let's see how she feels. And going to be very different to the cross trainer, but see what a big 500 is like. So we've got this really little technical area here that we like to play and warm up in, and obviously the cross trainer just eats up this sort of stuff. This bike's going to feel very different because I'm used to the cross trainer, but you know, this is pretty technical stuff for me. I would have thought to be doing on a 500. But yeah, like that, ripped up that little lip up there. We'll just have a play around a few of these things and then we'll hit a couple of trails. It's a bigger bike, stiffer suspension than my standard cross trainer, but it's feeling pretty good. Nice and smooth, nice to have a little bit of engine braking. Pretty big drop off there. And then we'll try this little double up here. Yep, collects plenty of power there. Oh, and there. Feels very nice. So no issues, just sort of crawling around that technical playground there. Obviously any of these connecting trails this is going to just eat up. But now we'll head on to one of our normal little loops in the pines here and see how we go. Definitely going to enjoy the engine braking. Although I would say to any lifelong 4-stroke riders, which I was until the cross trainer, you get used to using the front and rear brake very quickly on a 2-stroke. And actually like now to have a lot more feel through my bars and that sort of thing. So, but you still can't beat a bit of engine braking downhill. Watch out for our wombat hole there. Up to 3rd gear now, so I'm not too sure on the gearing with this. I've been cruising around in 2nd gear with a bit of clutch when it gets tight. 1st gear is definitely not as snappy as on a little 2-stroke enduro bike, but see how we go. We're going to start going up now. Yeah, plenty of power there, and still pretty easy on the clutch. Oh, I was on the pegs until then, but definitely that big bore is just happy there. It's not going to stall on me. Yeah, it eats up any of that more wide open stuff. And this bit's pretty technical. So there we go. Be lots of clutch up through here. Tell you what, this does not feel heavy after getting off a cross trainer 300. I'm very surprised with this. Yeah, I even carried the front wheel there. This is not the big bulky bike that I thought this was going to feel. It's got steg pegs on it, so I'm not working too hard on my arms, but and this is very off camber, technical little pond section here, and loving it. I wouldn't mind riding this for a couple of hours at all, I don't reckon. See how we go up here. Yeah, just tractoring, lots of power there. Only a little dab of clutch. And loved it. Furz ripping up there on his pimped cross trainer. Now, I'm not used to this bike, but I'll open it up a bit on this sort of road. This is obviously what a bike like this is going to eat up, and I'll probably be much faster than I would be on my cross trainer. Front wheel right up there. It does just feel a lot more purchase on this road than obviously a light 2-stroke. So in terms of what we're doing this test for, you know, if you can only have one bike, this is just a short test, but I'm certainly not put off by this at all. And I am also looking at exactly this, a 501 Husky, for having a crack at the Fink Desert Race next year. So that was very enjoyable, and much more rideable up that than I would have anticipated. So I'm just out having a play on the 501 on some of these four drive trails, because this is not the sort of thing Furz and I ride much, but obviously it's what this bike is much more suited for. A bit of touring and a bit of sort of rally riding, and it's just interesting. It just feels so much more planted. I feel very loose on my bike on this sort of stuff, and you know, we run very low tyre pressures doing this sort of hard Unduro riding that we do, but yeah, I'd definitely say if I was going to do a bit more open stuff, a 4-stroke would be, you know, probably preferable. Definitely up in your 450, 500s, but yeah, this is just nice. I could sweep around roads like this on a 500 all day. It's not a monster of a bike too. Like, it's not twitchy, and there's not like, it's not like I'm just spinning the back wheel. It's a very smooth power stroke on this, so I'm impressed. It's far more rideable in all conditions than what I was anticipating. And just look, I mean, I'm doing a tight turn there. I'm sitting, but no dabbing, just cruising around, and just feels good. Coming into something like this, I'd be very sort of nervous on the cross trainer. The front would wash a little bit, and I'd feel the tyres fold a little bit with low pressures. But yeah, this is just definitely fun on this bike. But like I said, we've just been through all the snotty stuff as well, sort of as hard as Furz and I would do on a normal ride, and I definitely wouldn't balk at doing it on this bike if it was all I had available to me. So, mate, that's very nice. Way easier up all that technical stuff than I was anticipating, especially after just doing a warm-up loop on the cross trainer. So yeah, I'm really surprised and really happy. Didn't want to stall on me at all, and yeah, there's plenty of power, just probably not as much clutch slipping even as I would have done on the cross trainer. Just a slight difference in where the weight is, not being used to that, but I wouldn't say bad, and you'd get used to it really quickly. So
what sort of vibe did you get with the hearing? Sort of scenarios like maybe over
yeah, I did all this kindergarten in second, and that felt fine. I could collect a bit of power and get into it, which I like, and it's just got good low down power, obviously being a bigger 500. So I'm really surprised, mate, and like, yeah, it's much more nimble than I would have thought. So it'd be cool to have a bit more of a play on this, but given how technical the second half of that Pines track is, I'm really surprised. I think I only dabbed once or twice. Like, that was really good. So yeah, your turn, Furz.
All right, so my turn on the 501. Notice when I hopped on, the traction control was on. I don't know if it was on for when Al rode, but you know, I'm going to turn it off and leave it on 1. All right, let's go. Oh, it's beefy, but you know, 500, 4-stroke. another warm-up. So I'm pretty much in second on that, no worries at all. Obviously feels a bit chunky being a four-stroke, and engine braking I'm not 100% used to, and the difference with is the clutch is the normal clutch lever. I'm running a Clake on mine. I mean, suspension feels alright for fairly standard. Definitely feels like a heavier bike, but surprisingly it's still darting around quite nicely. I'm just sort of getting used to the different brake system, obviously. Yeah, it just torques up that, no problem at all. A little bit of a skinny here. Oh, stalls. Yeah, stall. Not used to this clutch. Use that as an excuse. This means I have to go faster now. Second gear, just tractoring along. A little bit tighter here. Definitely, for me, it feels like big. The bike feels like sizable. Oh, yeah. Out on some of the open stuff. Feels good. Yeah, well, feels good.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it was a lot more effort to ride, like in my clutch hand. I'm trying to get used to it's the Magura clutch on here, and obviously our Clakes are a lot lighter and a lot easier to use, but
you flew up there. I actually couldn't keep up with you on the cross trainer.
yeah, like
We've been swapping around a lot, so every bike feels a bit weird at the moment, but you tore up that.
Obviously, I mean, it's one of those things where the bike feels a bit chunkier, but it will do everything. It's fine. It's really, I think it's what you like the feel of. Like,
and when you think, like in my mind, what I thought a 500 would be. I mean, I've had 4-stroke 250s. That's not what I thought. Like,
no,
it's totally manageable.
I was in second most of the time, going into third when I was doing a bit faster.
Yeah.
And very forgiving. I stalled that once at that section there. Don't know, user error.
Yeah.
But I found it. Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
The suspension was sort of similar, but different a little bit. But I sort of won't get too much into the suspension, but.
Traction control, do you feel it loose at all? Or
well, I had the
noticeable?
traction control off, and I didn't really notice. I probably was spinning the back tyre a little bit.
Yeah.
Just I was trying to really push it on that uphill with the jumps and things, just to see. And it's the direct stays in a really good straight line.
Yeah.
So. It's just horses for courses, to be honest.
Nice, mate. I think we need to give you a penalty today. You're riding too quick.
It's loving it. Good fun. Good fun. All right, so we've just all had our runs on the different bikes, the 501 and the cross trainer. We sort of discussed the 501 between me and Al, and Richo's had to go on both the Pimped and Al's bike there. So give us a little bit of a rundown about how you felt with the bike.
Well, it's a bit of an eye-opener for me. Two strokes aren't what I remember them to be honest. I'd have to say that the power on this reminds me of a small four-stroke. The revs are quicker. Really, really nice ride. The Clark clutch, I must admit, I'm very seriously thinking about putting one on the Husqvarna 501 because it really is convenient. I'd have to say I couldn't believe these two are the same bikes because this one was fast, this one was scary, to put it bluntly. As I'm coming over the whoops and cracking the throttle open, no problems about lifting the wheel up and over, but I was hitting 30 degrees. Like I was feeling like if I kept it on, I would have gone over. And as I was sliding back a bit, I could feel I'd hate to keep that throttle on. So definitely scary. What I would say though, coming down the first part of our loop, the front wheel on this, about 2 or 3 times I had it just slip on me a little bit. I don't know whether it's suspension or whether I had a different line, but this thing felt very sure-footed, but I'd feel safer on this. I'd have to have a week's worth of riding on that one. Awfully impressed. I mean, my understanding is the price is, it's above half price of these. Obviously on road, that's the FE 501 is probably more convenient for travelling from your house, but purely on the dirt, I have no doubt this would be a better option, to be honest, if you're just doing single trail or even small four-wheel drive tracks. I don't love mixing two-stroke, but I definitely would do it for this. In terms of the torque difference, this feels like, I don't know, if comparing it to a car, 2-litre turbocharged, that thing's illegal. But I must admit that I was shocked at how much down-low grunt these had, both of them. So yeah, absolutely surprised. Very happy with it. I do miss the engine braking. I'm not a fan of that. But the clutch absolutely made up for it up on the hills and through the tight bits. I mean, I've been on the FE 501 for a while now, and I had a KTM 400 EXE racing prior to that. And I'd have to say, I really hate the lack of, I'm not a short person, I'm probably 5'10", maybe a bit more. Whereas I can barely get my feet down on a steep hill. This thing, I could just reach out, seats were more comfortable, believe it or not. So yeah, definitely impressed, Scared of that one, but I don't know, maybe it's the mods, but that one just feels like a completely different bike, so mods are worth it. So thank you.
I found that you were really quick. I was behind you on El's bike, and like super quick. You were quicker than on your 501. Did you feel like you were quicker, or what do you think that comes from?
I suppose I definitely felt quicker when I had to turn, because the centre of gravity on both of these is fantastically low. That's the problem I have, like when we cross that little bit of a road and up that first bit that cuts left, I find that on my bike I'm struggling to think when I put the legs down, and when I get the turn I then also think, oh, am I going to go too far? So I rev the engine, get a bit of engine torque to bring it back up and swing it over, but every time I took that one, I kept thinking I could fall on the low side, whereas this, didn't have a second thought about it. And there's all those little short stumps on that bend. So, yeah, definitely, I wouldn't say I felt quick, but obviously I must have been. The bike feels more nimble. And because I know I can turn at last minute with a low centre of gravity, absolutely, I wouldn't do it on my FE 501.
If I use the term fun, would that ring any bells with the
bikes? They're both fun. They're amazing. Both the two-strokes are great. Honestly, you'd have to think twice about why you'd buy an FE 501 when you look at the price difference. I wanted to be able to drive from the house, and I want to do long Ks, and sometimes where you've got road sections. And I want a full street legal, so I'd obviously buy one I can reg from day one. But yeah, both. All the bikes amazing, to be honest.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers.
Thanks, Richo.
Well, Furz, we got out on the Husky 501 yesterday. It was a nice day. We finished quite late. But I've got to say, mate, I'm very surprised and impressed. This is not the unmanageable beast that I imagined it would be. It's actually a very nice, smooth bike. A little bit heavier, obviously, than the cross trainers, but the weight seemed to feel well distributed. And, mate, I enjoyed riding it to the point where didn't really swap back with Richo for most of the day. So,
you didn't want to let it go, really.
Yeah. Well, I said in the recording too, like I am looking at actually grabbing one of these to do the Fink Desert Race, probably come last next year. But nevertheless, it's really given me the confidence that this is a bike that I can ride and manage. So, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a dirt bike.
Yeah,
I love
we were both four-stroke people most of our life too. So.
Yeah, that's right. So the difference between the two is the two-stroke for me is a lot more fun.
Yep.
Okay. This bike I would have for this or a 350, to be honest, if I'm talking about four strokes, for a little bit more non-single trail snotty stuff. I'd have the two-stroke any day, but this for anything else, if there's a lot more open terrain, I would have this or the 350. I've had two 350s before, and the size difference, you can't really feel it all that much, probably a little bit in the engine, but it's a great bike.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is, like we said at the start, we're not, saying this is to replace a hard enduro sort of bike, but a lot of people can only have one bike. And if you get out and you want to do a bit of touring or all the four-wheel drive tracks and stuff, this just felt so planted and so comfortable on all those four-wheel drive tracks, like totally chalk and cheese from the cross trainer on those.
I was surprised. I thought it may be quite unwielding with the power.
Yeah.
I thought when you gave it throttle, it would really just rear up on you. This thing,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It felt quite tame. We didn't go into map 2 all that much. I clicked through it a little bit, but honestly, I couldn't tell the difference. I'm not an expert, but this was still really tame in a powerful way. I don't know, talky, powerful way. But
but not violent.
No.
You played with the traction control. I had it on all day, and even on like a gravel road that we're coming back on, I was trying to get into it. And look, it wasn't sliding out on me, and it didn't feel unsafe. So again, haven't had much experience with that traction control, but it seemed to do a good job without cutting power.
Yeah. Couldn't tell that much, but I think I was just having too much fun to be paying attention to it. So it wasn't, definitely for me, it wasn't chalk and cheese. I've gone, wow, this is map 1, this is map 2, and traction control is amazing. It's holding me on the road, but, you know, and I think, like I was saying, this is a 2020. I think the technology's changed a lot. I think the 24s, it's very noticeable, so.
Yeah, very different bike. And I think for me, we always make an effort to unload right where our single trails are that we enjoy. And that's, you know, one of the reasons we love the cross trainers. But if I was doing any riding that incorporated roads or big runs between areas, like you say, we've always agreed the 350 is kind of that best all-round bike. But if I was going to do any sort of road riding, I wanted to put some bags on it to maybe camp overnight. This is a great bike that you can still do all the snotty stuff on if that's what you need to do. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a ripper. I'll throw some of the footage of our ride that we did afterwards in there. So got a few hills and bits and pieces where you're coming up. So
a bit of a different one with a bigger bike for us, but just another, you know, great way to encourage anyone to get out and just ride the bush or the roads in whatever way you want to.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
This is that snotty little bit.
Yeah, I remember.
But it looks all right. Go, go, go. We'll keep going. I think it gets a bit shitty, but yeah. Mindset. We'll go have a look. Nice. Nice! Well done. Huh? Yeah.
Not so happy as that.
No. Nice. Well done. That always looks worse. No, you'd have to start again, I think. Huh? Yeah. Same spot. Crazy. I'll have a look. I'll at least go to the bottom of it. Yeah, it's yeah. I was in first. Huh? Yeah, once I got there, it wasn't too bad. Whew. Yep, I got it. Yeah, pull it to me. I'm just going to try and lift it across. Yeah. Okay. But no chance. I'll go to the front and pull. Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, hang on. Yep. You always just got to have that bit of momentum. I pussyfooted. Yeah! Yeah, fuck. I think you and I, from when we got on that bump, we went right. Hard right, because we couldn't get up that. Yeah, just get past that. I'll have a look anyway. Yeah. I'll go on the outside. I'll go on the outside, I think. Thank you. Fuck. Let's just keep going, momentum. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep. That's it.